Don't tell me you don't like that, Scott.
No, dude, you know what? Credit to Ryan on this. I was going to say, how was that absolutely fantastic opening that was created there? Huge props on that. Very excited. Thank you. Yeah, basically just get that dust off there. You know what? You heard that. Anyway,
can I say something?
Please.
We don't have to beat Ryan's ass today.
No, we don't. But tomorrow we may kill you.
How is that an option?
I don't know. It's like an Arabian. Whatever that line was from Princess Bride. I may kill you tomorrow. Anyway, This is Tales from the Film Set, by the way. Hi. Glad you guys are here. Appreciate it. As always, Ryan, Day. I'm Scott. I'm bleary-eyed and tired. We're going to muscle through this thing.
Yes.
We're going to be talking a little Oscar noms. We're going to be talking also finishing off the conversation on that, and also talking a little bit about Rust, finishing off the Alec Baldwin thing. I have a couple of thoughts on that from my own personal experience and some of the crap I've been noticing. But gentlemen, how you doing first off?
Fantastically well. Dear sir.
When did you become an anime protagonist? God.
Kawaii ne.
Okay, no. If I had to choose, I'm going with Day. Look, we've already discussed you being in the Sailor Girl outfit once before last year.
If we raise enough money, yes.
This is 2023 now. We're not doing this.
They wa kawaii kuro no toko.
By
the way, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. Well, actually, it's probably okay. I just said you're a cute black man.
Thank you.
Or is he a black cute man? Depends on which way you want to go with it.
Yeah.
But anywho, try to get this somewhat back organized. My God, we're 2 minutes into this thing and we're already off track. Oh, dude, I need some alcohol.
It's just cuteness, man. It's the cuteness.
Oh, dude. Okay. Anyway, let's basically just take care of that real quick, and there we go. Problem solved. Anyway, we're going to be talking about. We're going to finish off the topics about Alec Baldwin. Finishing up topics about Oscars. A couple other things along the way. We'll figure it out as we go along. As always, links are down below. You can find out what basically contact us if you like it, you don't like it, whatever. So anyway, we're going to kick this off and finish things off, like I said, with the Alec Baldwin, situation here.
Right.
This is something that I do have a personal touch in when it comes to this. Having seen injuries, having taken injuries. Curiously enough, I did a breakdown in my own head. In the course of the last decade and plus that I've been doing the film industry, I have had herniated discs twice. Once, by the way, with drop foot, which means you can't even lift your leg. Torn rotator cuff, sprained foot, and also a sprained knee. So injuries routinely happen on film sets, even though they're not really talked about. About 3 weeks ago, I was on a production. I won't mention the name of it, but I watched a glass window literally fall on a crew guy's head. It was a quarter of an inch thick, and just bam, just like that.
Ooh.
They originally had built this thing. Let me just finish this. I'll open up to you in a second. They had originally built this with the plan of having 7 people, including myself, stand on it. That was quickly basically shot down when they realized it was going to hold the weight. And then it just fell of its own accord, clocked the dude in the head, and they just moved on with the shoot day. Anyway, they continue.
So this thing just shattered when it hit his head.
It strangely did not shatter.
Well, no, if it was something that was planned to hold like the weight of 7 people, say like 150, 200 pounds on average.
232.
That's not going to shatter just by hand landing on a guy, but it is going to leave quite a bruise.
Dude, right off. So, this kind of stuff happens a lot. So with what happened with Alec Baldwin, this is the big question that I've brought up that, I've addressed this a ton of times, and I wasn't here last week. That's why I'm doing this now. A lot of people are like, well, what's your thoughts on this? Here's the question nobody asks. This is the one you heard about. How many times does a person drive drunk before somebody gets arrested? And that's the difference here. This is the one that you heard about. Obviously, it's a high-profile name. It's Alec Baldwin. Yeah. So there's a big deal when it came to Helena Hutchins. This production the crew had walked off once before due to safety concerns. So none of this is surprising here. You hired an armorer who has no credits to her name. If you look at her IMDb, her name is Hannah Gutierrez. She has 2 IMDb credits. Weirdly enough, after this, she landed a job as an armorer on a Nick Cage film. Why not? So she's not out of the industry. Apparently, this kind of thing has given her notoriety, and she's moving upward from it. Yeah, so she had literally two IMDb credits to her name before this. By comparison on this, if you look at somebody like Gotham, because I remember my time in Gotham, the armorer, whose name I think was Sam, he had over 1 million rounds of blank, gunfire experience before he got that job. 1 million rounds. So that is like commando level times like 10. And that's what he needed to do to get the job on Gotham, which obviously was heavy gunfire. This one was just basically like, you go. And look what happened.
Well, Day, I know you've had like training in firearms handling and everything. Obviously, Scott has his issue with Alec Baldwin in general, but Day, from your
I
perspective,
liked Alec Baldwin until this. Let me see if I can do it. There, that's her IMDb right there. So we got a Nick Cage film coming up where she's additional crew, Murder at Yellowstone Valley, Millennium Bugs, and Rust, and that's all she's got.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of the concerns that exist. So, and yes, connections 100%. As like I think Kevin Smith referred to it, it's all about failing upwards. But in the process, yeah, the issue here is the fact that she's getting this job now with, she's head armor of the old way with Nick Cage. Who else is in this? Dean Armstrong, Clint Howard. Oh my God, Clint Howard. Remember that name?
Yeah.
The Ice Cream Man's in this?
The Ice Cream, I was going to say best known as Ron Howard's brother is in that movie.
Wow.
So he was.
But again, it's in the Cage movie, so I'm not too surprised.
He was also in Austin Powers movies too.
Yes.
When they used to run the joke, that looks like a big Johnson. Get over here, Johnson. He was part of that too.
Wow.
Right, but obviously there's been no word of any incidents on that particular movie, so you can't say that, she's like a curse or, an issue that way.
But it is ironic because this apparently did not blacklist her. It got her cred. I don't know how this worked. I would almost wonder if it's sort of that thing. I don't know if you heard about this, but the guy who used to fill up Chuck Yeager's jet years, way back, mistakenly put the wrong fuel in and almost killed Chuck Yeager. And Chuck hired him on the spot and said, "I'm hiring you because I guarantee you'll never make another mistake again." Maybe that's the scenario here.
But okay, as a person that handled firearms,
yes, we saw the certification last week. If you watched that episode, he put up the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Just to let people know, when you're on set, when you're going to the gun range, first thing is first, you always check your weapon. Whether it's a live weapon, whether it's a dummy, whether it's an aerosol gun, you have to check your weapon. You can like with an aerosol gun, you can easily shoot somebody's eye out. Yeah.
You can kill someone with a blank too,
Yeah. So when you're handling stuff on set, you gotta be extra cautious when it comes to that stuff. Using firearms is no joke, but even using prop guns is no joke because guess what?
But it was, go ahead.
You got police officers, not only that could mistakenly assume there's a live weapon on set. That's one incident. Number two, if you don't check the weapons properly, because there's people that bring in live weapons to a set.
They tell you not to do that.
And they tell you not to do that. And they put blanks in. Bad experience.
Oh my God, I shot my eye out. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but on a serious note, it's really, you can't.
Yeah.
From what happened, it's just like reliving Brandon Lee's situation.
Yeah, Michael Massey was never the same after that.
And nope. Did anybody get locked up during that when Brandon Lee died?
No, it was considered to be an accident in this case. Michael Massey was the one that pulled the trigger. He was exonerated because he was given the gun. I don't know if anybody got jail time off of that.
Okay. And with this one,
I know, like I said, I know he was never really the same after that. He had a long career despite that, but he never really like mentally recovered from that.
And with this, you shot a photographer, like director of photography.
DP, yeah.
So it's like, really, he has to put everything on him because, it's your production, it's your project. The person didn't properly do safety precautions, but they got rocket all the way up. So there's no persecution for that person. But Alec Baldwin, I think involuntary manslaughter.
You can go for that. I think involuntary you can do. You cannot say it's premeditated, obviously. But you can pull that one, I think, if you need to. Right. Will he get jail time? Probably not.
Not.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on his record.
Yeah. But I think you can still work around that long enough.
Yeah. But that's someone's life. When you're a person that deals with armory, you're responsible for everybody.
Yep.
The person that used the weapon, the person that is supposed to so-called get shot with the weapon, everybody's life is in your hands.
Yep.
And all jokes aside, we lost people on set that may not go home and see their family. Yes, they may get a big check, but it's not going to bring that person back.
Yeah, and she was married and had kids too.
That's someone's mom that's not going to be seen. They probably going to remember her, but they're not going to actually experience the love and cherish the fact that she's home.
Here's the funny thing about this, and this is the one thing.
How are you going to go from what he was just saying to, here's the funny thing?
No, it's okay. The ironic thing, if you want to call it that.
I get what he's saying.
The ironic thing, let's use that word instead. The film industry and the crew was all over this. There is a Facebook group that I'm part of called Crew Stories. It's got about 70,000 crew members in there. Decades old. I mean, these guys are telling stories from like Ben-Hur. These guys have rallied around this in such a massive degree, and the amount of personal stories they have come out with on safety concerns. When this whole thing came out, just things that they saw, things that they dealt with, massive amounts of fatigue, energy loss. Like I said, I mean, there was a crew guy that I knew. He had herniated discs and continued to work. He was not allowed to actually take a day off for 8 weeks until the show wrapped when he could have surgery. He had herniated discs that entire run, but he couldn't take it. He couldn't take off. How much of a guarantee can you give me he's not going to have an accident of some sort?
Can't tell you that.
I mean, listen, if you've had herniated discs, you know how difficult that is to cope. Yeah. And if you still have to do a 15-hour workday 5 days a week with that, when I went through it, I was downing cyclobenzaprine and naproxen on an empty stomach and just chewing it like children's chewable vitamins. It got me through, but my God, my brain was toast. Imagine if I had to lug shit.
And that's the sad thing that, I don't know if SAG knows about this stuff or they just allow it see. And then that's the problem. It's just that you got to care about the safety of the cast, the crew, everybody that's involved, because when it comes to production, you wanted to make it as safe as possible, but make a good product. But how can you make a good product and the experience is not safe?
Well, the problem is it comes down to money. Because in this case here, there is so much competition. If you look at streaming, forget broadcast or anything like that. Streaming alone, what do you have out there? You've got Netflix, you've got Hulu, you've got Amazon, you've got Disney. All the ones that are coming out with movies on that part of it alone. Forgetting the broadcast channels, forgetting theaters. There is so much competition that everybody's trying to fire out the next thing as fast as possible, and you cut corners to get the next thing.
So even when it costing people's lives, you have to cut.
People are expendable. Listen, here's a certain streaming service that you would know. They made a new rule that apparently on their films, they are no longer required to give safety vans to background and stand-ins after 9:30 at night. Now, the general rule is with SAG is that if you are filming in an area that's outside of Manhattan or like above or beyond, like above like 96th Street or below, or in like Queens, Brooklyn, or places like that, they have to at least offer you a safety ride back to Grand Central, Penn Station, or something like that. If you say no, that's on you. That's not on them. Right. It always had to be offered. This film studio, which is opening up a very large one in New Jersey, revoked that. And as a result, they no longer required it. So on a production that I was on that night, someone actually got mugged on the subway because of the fact that they did not have a safety ride back to Manhattan. This is the new norm now. So what happened with Helena Hutchins, as bad as it is, this is in some ways, I think, going to be a predictor of the future as productions are more looking towards money, efficiency, and getting the next product out there.
Right.
You know, you're already hearing what's happening with VFX artists and the meltdown that they're having, the 100-hour work weeks for 6-7 months at a time. You know, mistakes end up happening. With crew stuff, yeah, dude, I've seen it. You know, I mean, crews bury people regularly, you know, a little more often than I think you realize. This is just the one you heard about. You know, I mean, you guys remember the meltdown that I had when John Pizarro was killed. You know, I mean, somebody I knew was literally murdered in Brooklyn, and I had a literal panic attack a week later when I had to go into Brooklyn myself, and I couldn't do it because this is what the industry is. You know, now it turns out there was more information behind the scenes what happened with John. You know, and it was less a accident and more of an actual hit, but just the same, it rattles the snot at you.
All right.
Yeah. And production didn't want to tell the crew that it happened that morning. They found out later on in the day. Production was literally, don't say anything.
So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the dark sides behind the set.
This is tales from the film set, by the way.
Oh, it is. But real talk, these are the dark side parts that nobody likes to talk about on set, behind the scenes. Even the toxicity, the harassment, the whole 9 yards. But because it's a passion that everybody wants to be involved in, some people just have to eat dirt and to just basically deal with the toxicity, injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
that crew guy with the herniated discs, me too. Yeah. We pushed through because we were afraid of losing our job to someone else. We were afraid of losing our job to someone healthy. He said the same thing. I know it. I pushed through on Gotham despite all of that and the torn rotator cuff because I didn't want someone else to take my job from me. So 15-hour days and cyclobenzaprine and naproxen on an empty stomach. You know, when I tore the rotator cuff, something I don't even know if it was even legal came out of Chinatown. That medic, dude, I don't know what that stuff was, but by God, it was amazing. It took away all the pain, and I'm not sure how legal that was. But I was afraid of losing the job, and that's what a lot of people in this industry are afraid of. So that's why you push through despite the circumstances, because you want to make sure you have work tomorrow.
And not only that, you want to make sure you had that one opportunity to make a good impression to you, the fans.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking about you, the audience.
you. Could be you, or you, or
you. And Ryan is the only one that's not saying nothing.
No, Ryan is not saying a dang thing right now. I have no idea what he's thinking right now.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did say last week that we were going to go ahead and table the conversation because I wanted you both to get your perspectives out. Day with his training and Scott with his Alec Baldwin-ishness. And I wanted to be respectful and allow that.
No,
since you are putting me on the spot, I think, as sad as it may be to say, it's Alec Baldwin. He's probably not going to see any jail time.
Probably not.
And it'll just be written up with one more of those unfortunate set accidents that happened during a movie, and they'll probably mention it at the Oscars. And, you know, it's like an in memoriam sort of thing, and that'll be it.
Yep. You know,
if you want,
she'll be mentioned just like that stunt person that was killed by the train tracks on the train.
Exactly.
Just as a footnote on the, you know, as you're moving on to the next 35, 40 productions.
Here's a perfect example, ladies and gentlemen. If you remember,
and kind of like what Kyle was talking about with the 1920s. If you ever see the movie Babylon,
Mhm.
which I personally think should have gotten a little bit more
True
recognition.
Stories was all over that one.
No, but I mean, if you see what went on as far as like filmmaking back in the day, back in
Mhm.
its I guess its Wild West days, you could say, when there was very much unlawfulness going on. They weren't against dressing up a bunch of hobos as actors, and if they died, they died. You
Yep.
know, give them a couple of bucks and that's it. You know, put them on their
Didn't
way.
Nolan fire off a literal nuke in his movie?
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know. One thing I will mention that I just want to point out real quick, and I'm sorry, Ryan, I'll go back to you in a sec. In the film industry itself, crew people are not allowed to sit down. They have to stand the entire day. I don't know why, but it's part of the rule where if you're sitting down, it looks like you're not working. So
Right.
you stand up and not work instead. And there are certain productions out there and certain directors that will fire you if they find you sitting down. Crew guys, a lot of times, will skip lunch just for the purposes of sitting down, lying down, and taking a nap. Because if they're on their feet for 18, 20, 22 hours a day, they got to sit down at some point. That's the other side when I talk about the herniated discs. You're not crew guys are not allowed to sit down. You get really in trouble for that. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
No, but that's why when it comes to crew, you'll see crew people with like tons of movies of experience on their belts because usually they're the ones who are willing to risk the time and effort to go through
Yeah.
that stuff. You don't have a huge revolving door of like best boys or key
Mhm.
grips. You know, it's usually like the same old hands per studio that are going ahead and taking care of this sort of stuff.
Did you pull that, by the way, from the Tom Wilson video that you just posted earlier today on the Facebook thing? Because he asked the question, what does a key grip do? Set up lights. What does the best boy do? Help a key grip. What does the producer do? I don't know. Stop asking me that question. Dude, I had that damn song memorized.
It was a fun song.
Oh, God. If you ever get the chance, also, Tom Wilson's song Character Actor is fantastic also. So he's like, I never get the girl. I'll probably attack her. I'm a middle-aged, unemployed character actor.
Oh, I was going to say something.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Tropic Thunder.
Yes.
For those who watch Tropic Thunder, there was a line that they mentioned about Ben Stiller's character
Mhm.
by Tom Cruise and the other guy. He said, and we will mourn.
Yeah.
We will put scholarships in his name and all this other stuff. And that's how it is in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, they'll use you to make them look good.
Now, here's go ahead and finish your thought. I want to add something in the reverse of actually a really cool story I do have.
In other words, they will use your negative situation. It could be your death, your injury, and make it into a positive
Yep,
for
pat
them.
yourself on the back. Now, I will say this: if you guys remember, there was an Ed Norton film that was filming in New York where they inadvertently set an apartment building on fire. I forget the name of the movie, but it turns out the stand-in that on The Good Fight who lived in that apartment building, and he lost everything he had. Look, hey, Ryan, if you're looking up the movie, like I said, it's Edward Norton. Some fire.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. It was like the kind of like a film noir esque type movie, right?
Something like that. Yeah. Motherless Brooklyn. I feel like my head's what the name of it was. But to the credit of everybody on the Good Fight, they put
Yeah,
them up in
Motherless Brooklyn.
Motherless Brooklyn. Okay, I got it right. They put the guy up in a hotel. They personally, Christine Baranski, Ving Rhames, and all the rest of the cast paid for brand new wardrobe, paid for everything to get this guy back on his feet again because he had nothing to do with that fire, but they 100% took care of him.
Mm.
And so conversely, sometimes when things happen, they were just like, we will figure this out. He was, I believe, Ving Rhames stand-in. I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but yeah, they went full to town to get him back on his feet again. I thought that was a hell of a cool thing.
Right.
Yeah, as much as you may want to go ahead and like vilify and criminalize the movie going or the movie making experience, I should say. Um, again, it's still a case by case basis. Yes, there are some places, there are some productions, there are some people that will prefer to try to just go on the cheap, get something done. Now more so than ever, I'd say, because we're in the land of content as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to creation. And
it wasn't their production, by the way. I don't know about Motherless Brooklyn in this case, but the Good Fight people paid for him to get back on his feet, and he
yes,
just
but see that
he just
right there,
he just
what
went in the
Kyle's
building that
saying,
caught on fire.
you know, something like that can be still spun negatively
Right.
depending on your perspective.
Right.
It's like are they being genuinely nice, or are they like, oh well, let's make sure we don't get sued later?
Here's a
You know,
gift card to the Gap.
But or it could be both. Like
Mhm.
it's different ways where things can go. Yes, you have your darkness with Hollywood when it comes to stuff, but then there's also light. So it's
Mhm.
like a good and a bad.
and the
The
ugly.
down and
That
the ugly, downright ugly. It's just like politics,
mm,
but
Um,
we don't like it.
yeah, no, we don't.
Speaking of the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Yes,
should we get to the Oscars?
yes,
Okay.
and we so all right. There we go.
Oscars
That's how you
round
transition.
There.
round two.
How's that? Is that better?
Wait. Let me do it. Round two.
Fight. All right. Well, the big fight, first of all, is people a lot of are out there being like, why the hell did Top Gun Maverick get nominated? Ryan, go.
I mean, first of all, I'm just looking at all this, and I'm just in love with the poster for Triangle of Sadness.
Mm-hmm.
I love that picture. I haven't seen it, but I know it's like a farce of like rich people trying to fend for themselves on an island, and it's got Woody Harrelson in it.
Hmm.
So I
He's
do
usually
want to
good at
watch
anything
that
it is.
eventually. And I will be going Wednesday to the theaters to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is playing over in Jersey Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only place in the area I'm seeing that. As for Top Gun, okay, yes, we see the lady vomiting gold. All right,
Yes, make me rich.
okay, put that back, put it back.
I'm working on it. I'm working here. I'm working.
Okay, but the image alone is just
I'm trying. Here,
goes
there
for
we go. 3, 2, 1, go. There, is that better?
Top
close
Gun
enough.
Maverick.
So,
I'm not surprised that Top Gun
mm,
Maverick got that kind of recognition because while ultimately, yes, it is a bit of a cash grab sequel, it is also possibly the movie that saved movie theaters over the summer.
was the top grossing film last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been the top grossing film of last year were it not for Avatar. I think
Mm-hmm.
Avatar actually technically overtook it, even if it was only in theaters for a few
2.1
weeks.
billion. Yeah, so you called that right, by the way. Credit to you.
Yes.
So it was one of those things where it's like, you have to give like not so much the acting. I'd say that's why you don't see Tom Cruise or what's his face, the one who played Rooster, Miles
Jeff,
Teller.
yeah.
You don't see any acting nods their way, even back in the Golden Globes where they have like the drama and the comedy, and it can be split, and there's more options for people.
And
But when you
whatever
look
random
at the
Liam Neeson movie they've got out there.
cinematography, when you think about like the raw emotion of just feeling like you're there, feeling like you're part of the movie, the immersive experience,
Mm-hmm.
and then the emotion when the music chimes up and the planes are flying out, and it in itself is a great piece of movie making.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly enough, it got the best picture nod, didn't get a nod for cinematography,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
which baffles the mind. Like, okay, if you want to go ahead and take Top Gun Maverick out of it, fine, but nominate him for that camera work. I mean,
But
come on, you were there.
here's the weird thing also. Don't they actually not broadcast cinematography now during the actual broadcast? They do it like during commercial breaks or prior.
I mean,
They do that with wardrobe. I know that.
it can come and go with every director. It
Mm-hmm.
depends on what they
No, but I'm
want to
saying the
really
Oscar
push.
nomination itself. Don't they actually not give best cinematography during the
I mean,
actual
I've
live
seen
broadcast?
best cinematography on the awards before. Whether or not they're
Yeah.
going to continue to do it in light of like runtime and everything, who knows? They may go back to actually having like big musical numbers for the best songs, and that'll take time away. I don't know.
Mm.
Um,
The ratings for this has dropped massively over the years, though.
Yeah.
right, and I don't know what they're necessarily going to do in charge of like how they're going to present it and what kind of a show it's going to be. I do hope that they do like big musical numbers like they used to back in the day. Um, if only for the fact that the only big nomination that Indian film RRR got
Mhm.
was for best song. And if you don't do like a big presentation for that song, seeing it how it was in the movie,
Well,
I don't know what kind of show you're trying to put on.
that's one of the things that Obi was pissed about from the sports side of it.
Right.
About the fact that this movie did not get more love.
Right. And it's pretty much in the same vein as Top Gun Maverick. You
Mhm.
know, it's one of those more bombastic films that was pretty much just excellently produced and made. The execution of the film in all aspects just popped off perfectly.
Usually, I mean, with the Oscars, it's pretty rare that a foreign film gets a lot of traction. I guess one of the lessons I can really think of. I mean, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon might have been one of the first ones that really got like international known.
Yeah.
I was going to say Slumdog Millionaire. Okay, fine. The one with the tiger and the boat, whichever one that was.
Life of Pi.
Like,
Life of Pi.
you get those movies that sneak through, but then a lot of times, for the most part, by and large, the domestic films are the ones that get the Oscar noms, not the international ones.
Well, that's the thing, because RRR was also done by the same group that did Bahubali, which
Mhm.
was a big movie that came out and came overseas, and that was around the time that Avengers: Infinity War was coming out in theaters, and it was pretty much like rivaling the theaters before that movie came out. Like that was
Mhm.
big news that this movie was topping the charts, even with Infinity War on the horizon. So, I mean, it kind of makes you hope for whatever next movie they're going to make, but it is a little surprising that the Oscars didn't go ahead and include a little bit more, possibly. Reboot
Reboot.
Rocket Man.
You're talking the
Which
Elton John
Rocket
one?
Man, though? I
The
mean, there's the Rocket Man, which was the Elton John movie, but then there's also Rocket Man with that one NBC comic who, like, that was a Disney film.
Yeah.
and then there was also the William Shatner one.
Yeah, the Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
If they could actually do a movie about William Shatner and his spoken word music, I
I'd
would.
watch it.
But
I'd
yeah,
watch it.
a
It's
lot of
gonna
people
be
want to go ahead and say that this year there may have been enough international appeal, or at least enough people of color being noticed, and all of that was probably just because of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mhm.
Like, if that movie is basically
I heard that
carrying
episode.
that movie is carrying any and all non-white nominations this year.
Mhm.
Mm.
Which has
And
been a
rightfully
complaint,
so. I
a
mean, I'm
complaint
sure
in
it's a
its own
very good
right
movie.
too.
I will know later on this week, but it's kind of heavy lifting when you have to rely on one movie to be like, okay, this is going to be our non-white quota for the Oscars.
Exactly. And then back to like the patting on the back thing that Day was talking about before. You know. Yeah. Well, see, it's a funny thing. Let me come back to this for a sec. This is what I found fascinating. If you see the actual ratings here, let me see if I can blow this up just a tick. These are the TV ratings for the Academy Awards for the last few years. Look at that dip there. Now, granted, part of that was, I will admit, COVID in 2021, but you were routinely doing 20, 30. Hell, 2014, you had 43.7 million viewers. And the most recent one, you had 1/3 of that.
Yeah,
Because
pretty much it's been slacking off ever since 2014, which I forget what movie was big around that time that really brought the people in.
this, I think, has a lot to do with it. Because people are far more instantaneous gratification cell phone generation, that they're not going to sit there to the Oscars for 3.5 hours to listen to people they barely care about drone on for 3.5 minutes about their award speech.
And one
Right.
can even argue that the only reason that it dipped up from
Mhm.
21 to 22 may have been, the Will Smith slap. So,
Which, well, yeah, that's that the slap heard around the world. We talked about that a year ago.
Yeah.
But I mean,
wow,
even
we've been around for that long already.
I know. So, but yeah, COVID had a little bit to do with it. But it's interesting. It'll be curious to see what happens this year, because the general complaint has been the fact that nobody cares.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think now more so than any other time, I think it's really noticeable that people have been following along
Mhm.
with the awards season and everything. So once things were coming out for the Golden Globes, I think it was pretty much a telltale sign that's like, okay, so we have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's almost kind of spoiled in a sense. I'd say the only really big surprise we've had so far with this Oscars is in the best women's actor category,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
as far as Andrea Riseborough's nomination in
Yeah, there was some
To
complaints about that.
Leslie.
I think Christina Ricci called that out.
Yes, and mind you, that's a nomination where it's almost like a double-edged sword,
Mm-hmm.
because there were a lot of people that saw that nomination and was like, "Who the hell is that? Why are they up there?" Some people say, well, "Why is it this person and not Viola Davis or who's the lady who was in Till? What was
Mm-hmm.
that actress's name? I know it's not one that I recognize. Give me
Whoopi
one second.
Goldberg, Keith Beauchamp, Barbara Broccoli.
Danielle Deadweiler.
Mm.
Because these were all names that were mentioned in the Golden Globes, Screen Actors Guild, the BAFTAs. These are all that have been nominated and talked about since the beginning of award season. But all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, Andrea comes up and gets the nomination.
Right.
Um, and then, of course, there are people saying, well, why is there an investigation being launched into it? You know, what?
Mm.
Only people that spend a lot of money on promoting the film can get nominated to the Oscars?
Ryan,
And
you've
mind you, this is about a movie that had, some big names that had Allison Janney, had Mark Maron, and Andrea Riseborough. I mean, she's no stranger. I mean, I remember her from the Tom Cruise movie Oblivion. She was the
Mhm.
redhead in that. Um, this movie only made about like $27,000. All right, it was not widely spread. It was not widely
Yeah.
marketed, and certainly, I don't think there was any big campaign to get it nominated for anything else except Riseborough's acting. Here's the thing, though. Do you remember back when you used to watch the Oscars, like saying during the 90s,
Okay.
and you'd hear the nominations,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the movies you probably never heard of were getting nominated, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the actors you probably never heard of were getting nominated? It wasn't all big blockbuster stuff. It wasn't all things that were widely touted. But now, because we have social media, because we're that much more informed, it's like if you don't hear about a movie, it must have been bad.
So
Right.
it's almost like a mystery and intrigue of what am I missing out on because I never heard of this before.
Correct.
Right. And
Hmm.
that's how a lot of movies worked, because they didn't have like the streaming services, and straight to video was a certain thing that only maybe happened like
Hmm.
well after the movie has been nominated or something, and that you were
Hmm.
able to actually
So
go ahead
people
and
watch these
see it
award shows, they're
before the
getting
public
angry about who
got
got
viewed.
snubbed. Yeah, that's the other side of it too. You get on the internet just to be able to be pissed off about something.
Right. Well, again, with the Andrea Riseborough thing, it's like, oh, well, it's elitist to go ahead and investigate. First of all, there is no investigation into Riseborough's nomination.
Right.
What the Academy has said, and this has been a lot of like, miscommunication. The Academy has said that they're going to look into their guidelines for nominations and stuff, especially in the growing social media climate,
Hmm.
from these nominations onward. So if there's any changes that need to be made to the rules, they will effectively take care of it then. But they are not saying that Riceborough's nomination is in any way illegal.
Hmm.
So
Right.
she has as much credit to be up there as possible. Plus, from what I've heard, and mind you, I haven't seen this movie. I doubt you guys have. You can rent it on Amazon if you
Okay.
want to go ahead and see To
Mhm.
Leslie. Everyone has said she definitely deserves a nomination for this role.
Hmm.
Anybody that has seen this movie has touted the fact, whether you know them and they're a big name or not, whether it's Kate Winslet or it's some pundit online, they have said it should be a two-woman race between her and Kate Blanchett for Tar.
Hmm.
That is how good of a role it was. It's a shame that maybe it wasn't being recognized by anybody else in any of the other award ceremonies, and that
Mhm.
may be due simply to them not marketing it for that.
Hmm.
But if this little movie can get at least some recognition for the right thing, then why not?
Hmm.
And some people have even argued in regards to why not Viola, why not Deadwider. everyone's saying that this was the role that took that spot away. Others are arguing it should be Michelle Williams for the Fabelmans because her role is like supporting. She happens to be the most prominent female in the cast, but the amount of screen time she has and her usefulness in the narrative, it's not a leading role. I mean, if anything, you probably have to have her in the same word as like Angela Bassett, which, let's face it, Angela Bassett is winning Best Supporting Actress.
Probably, yes.
Hands down. But it's like, first of all, none of us are the Academy.
Correct.
None of us are. So the fact that we even get a chance to voice our opinions and voice what we think should be nominated and should not be nominated is funny in its own right, because more than likely anyone that's saying that something shouldn't be nominated or should be nominated, it's more dependent on what you've actually seen. You're not getting paid to see every single movie that comes out, so you don't know the full spectrum of what's available.
Right.
Like even something like All Quiet on the Western Front, that was like a dark horse coming into all the award ceremonies for the Oscars. It pretty much like made a late term break as far as like pushing for nominations. And that's a Netflix movie. Remember years ago when they were complaining that Netflix movies should not even be counted?
Yes.
Do you remember Roma?
Well, and then they bought the Kubrick film, or no, Coppola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now here it is. It's getting just as many nominations as Everything Ever All at Once or Banshees of Inisherin. Which, mind you, I loved Banshees of Inisherin. My mom, my heavenly more Irish mother, she watched 15 minutes of it and just turned it off. Could not get through it. I had to explain to her what was going on in that 15 minutes. So everything was going to be subjective, whether you like it or not. Just because your nomination isn't up there doesn't mean it's the wrong nomination for the most part. So people really do need to just get off whatever high horse they have. And, if you don't like the nomination, then, don't root for that film. But you can't keep saying that after they've gone ahead and they've changed who the Academy is and they've included a more diverse, younger branch of people for the Academy, you can't keep saying it's not good enough.
Right.
There's got to be a tipping point where you go ahead and you say, you know what? Is what it is. I'll watch the show. I won't watch the show. That's my choice. That's the best I can do on my end.
Right.
And I'll sit there and watch like Archer on Hulu. Which, by the way, can I just point out, now that actually I know how long the seasons are when he's in the coma, I'm enjoying the side stories a lot more, knowing there's a finality to them. So Ryan, I want to point that out because I want to give you credit on that, because you and I disagreed on this at one point, and I wanted to point out you are correct. I am not. So yes.
That's 2 for 2 in this episode. I like that.
Yeah, credit where it's due, man. So, but yeah, as far as the Oscars go, it'll be interesting to see what the ratings are. Obviously Twitter will light up, social media will light up with all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The question is, do they bring back Chris Rock for not giving the award away?
Chris Rock, and let's bring in Ricky Gervais while we're at it. Who else can we do? Who else basically pissed off all of Hollywood?
Will Smith.
Kanye.
Yeah. Did he just get remarried, Kanye?
No.
Yes, he did.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who?
I don't know.
I think it was like the woman that was handling his Yeezy line. It was like I guess an employee or a manager that worked for him or worked with him, I should say.
Bianca something, yeah.
Yo, when did this happen?
A few days ago.
I don't know, but Kim's pissed.
What?
Yeah, Kim's upset about it.
Why? You're a free woman.
How am I the only one that knows this stuff?
I didn't know about that part of it, but
she's a free woman. She don't have to deal with Kanye West's crazy stuff.
I understand.
No, now she has to deal with 2 people that are dealing with Kanye West's crazy stuff.
So this is Mrs. Kanye, by the way. Bianca Censori.
Yeah, looks pretty similar, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'll find out the full story.
So
I
don't know. I'm just thinking of the Gay Fish song now from South Park. I knew you'd appreciate that because we're sitting there singing "Let's Fighting Love" earlier. But
Let's Fighting Love.
Kanye West, singer, rapper, musician, great fish. Oh
And
God!
don't get me
Apparently,
wrong, audience. I am a huge Kanye West fan. I went to that was my first concert. Is the Blackout Tour.
really nice.
My first.
Oh, so this is just from the past couple of days ago. The Daily Mail reported Kim Kardashian and ex Kanye West keep their distance as rapper brings along new wife in quotes
Ooh.
Bianca Censori to kids basketball game in L.A. 2 weeks after his shock marriage.
Huh. So he brought the new wife to basically the missus and the ex.
Yeah, but that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, Bianca Censori, she was a Yeezy architect, so
Okay.
she did work on the Yeezy brand.
All right.
She's been working with the company since November 2020. So as far as we know, Kanye has only known this woman for a couple of years.
But see, here's the weird thing. I'm not going to say it's going to stick or not, but I would say I would give it a better shot because she's
However,
more average. Go ahead.
Daily Mail reports the two have yet to file for a marriage certificate, thus legalizing the union.
So they're not married.
So they had the ceremony.
Court thing or something. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe all the paperwork for the divorce isn't finalized, so they have to wait on that. I don't know, but
I don't know either. But I don't know. We're as usual. We get off topic with the show. I watched the viewership numbers just kind of.
well, I'm saying if we're talking controversy, we might as well take all controversies.
But it's funny because I watched the viewership numbers drop when we started talking Kanye. We dropped like 60%.
All right, we're done. Come back.
So, how about those Mets? So, hey, you know what? Let's talk Dragon. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk Dragon Ball.
No, I got one better.
Go for it.
Let's talk about Record of Ragnarok.
Oh God.
Okay.
Wait, Day?
That is your department, sir.
Oh, hold on. Why do you have that look on your face? Why are you so against Record of Ragnarok?
Oh, I'm not. I really think this anime was phenomenal.
Okay.
You
got that face on you. It's like, ooh. But what? Ooh.
Okay. So right now we're in season 2. I finished season 2.
As I did, yes.
Oh my God. The first battle happens to be Hercules against Jack the Ripper.
Interesting.
But it made sense. Oh my God. Because if you look at the story, is it okay I can spoil this?
It's okay with me.
All right, so Record of Ragnarok is pretty much gods are fed up with humans.
Fair.
And a Valkyrie stepped in the defense of humans, saying, look, give humans a chance.
Brunhilde.
Yes.
That is
and right now, they all came together and decided, okay, we'll give them a chance. They had to face us in a battle.
Mm-hmm.
The first fight was okay. I wasn't like, this is season 1. First fight, I was like, I wasn't the greatest. It was like, yeah, that's cool. But the second fight, oh my God. Adam versus Zeus. Oh my God. That was
Yes, see, that's the thing about the show. It's like, in order for it to be humanity versus the gods, you have to take the best of humanity, and even they get I guess you'd call shonen type power-ups. So they actually get other Valkyries to take the place of like these weapons, these augments, in order for them to even compete against the gods. And now, mind you, this is obviously an anime, so a good number of the human combatants are coming more from like an Eastern history, whether it be China or Japan or any of those natures. We're lucky we got Adam. All right, as far as white people go, we're lucky we got Adam.
But my favorite fight battle was Poseidon versus the Greatest Loser.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me get you some actual character names and everything here. So
I call him the Greatest Loser.
The guy with the swords.
Yeah, I call him the Greatest Loser because I kind of fit myself in this particular character.
Okay.
And oh my god, like he put up a heck of a fight against Poseidon and won his first win against a god. He lost to every human, lost all his matches to every human. But the smart thing about him was he don't take losing as losing. He takes it as learning.
Right. So he's talking about Poseidon versus Sasaki
The
Kojiro,
greatest loser.
who is one of the greatest swordsmen of who never really won a battle. He was one of those ones that was like, he's great, but he never grabbed the brass ring, so to speak. But he also gives the first win to humanity. And so second season it shows us Jack the Ripper versus Hercules, and then
No, Jack the Ripper.
Tamae Raiden,
Oh,
sumo
that was
wrestler,
good.
versus Shiva, the god of destruction of Hindu
That was
lore.
good. But Jack the Ripper versus Hercules was like put in.
It's like Super Smash Brothers.
No. Like on one hand, Hercules he brought up as a good kid that wasn't tempted to darkness because his thing is believe in justice and the right thing. While on the other hand, Jack the Ripper was a good kid, but abuse and torment had turned him into an evil individual, a sick, evil individual.
Yo,
what's wrong?
I am on the fandom site, fandom.com, and of course, anyone that knows fandom, that has like wikis for everything. I'm just looking at the next few matches for round 6, 7, and 8. Dude, round 8.
What's round 8? Just say it, man.
Round 8, which mind you, I'm not going into like who's winning or who's losing. I'm not no spoilers. But round 8 is going to be Beelzebub versus Nikola Tesla.
I was waiting for you to say Richard Simmons.
Wait.
No, and I'm telling you right now, if you look at the picture of Nikola Tesla, they've got him decked out like Iron Man.
Wait. Nikola Tesla against who?
Beelzebub.
Basically the devil. Yet.
And Nikola Tesla is
he's one of the founding fathers of electricity. It was basically him versus Thomas Edison when it came to like getting patents for their AC/DC sort of augmentations for electrical.
I knew that, but I'm like, Nikola Tesla?
Yeah.
I mean, better Tesla than Edison if you're going into a fight, honestly.
That's why I'm doing my face like, Nikola Tesla? Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Wow.
Yeah, see, I can't find a picture of it, but I'll let it go.
But
hold on. I'll show you right now.
Wow. Audience, wow.
All right.
That's why I like
it up on your screen? On your phone?
Oh yeah, I'd say you definitely get to like learn a nice amount of it. You do get to learn a good amount of history in regards to like maybe people that you didn't know about.
That is true.
But it's still very surprising what they're using here. So yeah,
it's self-defense. Okay.
There's Beelzebub.
Has a bit of a satanic charm to him, I guess we'll call it.
There's Nikola Tesla.
Wow.
Yeah. They are going full Iron Man with him.
Actually, I was almost going to say Cyclops in a way.
Wow.
Things.
But this is a good show.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've heard a lot of hate about this show too because unfortunately, it's not like a one fight per episode sort of thing. This almost goes like Dragon Ball. I hate that you have to mention Dragon Ball on this channel anymore, but the fact that they do take their
Yeah.
time taking a match and stretching it over like 3 or 4 episodes in order to not just draw out the match, but also expand upon the lore of both the god and the mythos behind that god, and
Human.
the little known or well known history of the people that are being utilized, almost as if giving these people more of a stage in order to appreciate their contribution to humanity, good or
Right.
bad.
Uh,
Yeah, and it has similar things with the Fate Grand Order, or even just the Fate series alone. The Fate's a little bit more reckless,
Mm.
I'd say, because it, even when it comes to like when they've gone over to like England, you know how many lines in King Arthur's lineage are all women. It's like they're doing that for the waifus. This is at least a little bit more quote unquote historically
mhm.
Right.
accurate.
But it's a good.
I mean, mind you, if you see Raiden, the battle, Raiden did not look like that in real life. He was not that
It was
ripped.
more like James
But
Remar in Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
yeah, no. He looked more like E
Yeah.
Honda for sure. But
But this is a good show to watch.
Mhm.
I recommend the audience even watch it. It may rub some people the wrong way because of the concept, like Ryan said, but it's a good watch, especially if you like history and you like Greek gods and learning about gods. It's just keep you interested.
Now, I will say this: if you guys can see this, okay, let me pull it this way. If you see the IMDb ratings, right, as best as you can.
Mhm.
This, by the way, is season 1. So you got,
which, mind you, again, IMDb always take the ratings
yeah,
with a
but
grain of
but no,
salt.
no,
There
but
are
there's a
better.
point that I've got with this, because if you're noticing that season 1 is mostly, mid sixes, a couple of sevens, and things like that. Season 2, however, which is the one season he's talking about, 8-7, 8-1, 8-9, 8-8, 8-0, 8-1, 8-4. So as a result, you have something that's habitually like 6 and 7s now having straight 8s all the way through. So maybe there is something to it once the show figured out how to get itself around a little bit and figure out what it wanted to be.
Well, I think it was one of those things where Record of Ragnarok really didn't get the same kind of like promotion that say other anime did, especially for Netflix animes.
Like Castlevania may have.
Right, exactly. Or maybe the Godzilla
Right.
Singularity. Um, it's definitely one of those things where I think if people went ahead and they saw that they made a second season, they'll go back and watch the first season in order to like catch up
Kyle,
and see what exactly they missed.
I'm sure. Is that what what 62 on the internet?
Only if you call her Attila the Honey.
Oh,
All right.
Attila
what is that
the
rule?
Honey.
Is that rule 63 on the internet? Where basically whatever character you have to make the opposite gender of it. Like female Mario, female.
Not sure what code is that is.
That is gender swap.
Not sure.
Yes.
I mean, I know chances are if it's a character that can be gender swapped, there will be a rule 34
well,
about
I'm
it.
leaving 34 out of this. But yes, 63 and 64 are interchangeable. 63, if there's a male character, there's a female counterpart created, and then vice versa. 64 is a female character. You get a male version of, like, say, Samus or Princess Peach or something like that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Rule 34 is a little bit of a different thing on that. I believe there's probably a subreddit devoted directly to that one as well.
Right. At least I can say Record of Ragnarok, they've tried to stay very close to the actual historical ties of how these characters were represented in history. So as to, like, yeah, they may get like the anime boost. But and surprisingly enough, just anime as a whole, it's amazing what you can learn from anime.
Yeah.
It's like you take anime like, Food Wars or Dr. Stone. It's like you actually learn legitimate stuff from
you
that.
learn so much about the Japanese Civil War during that.
Yeah, I mean, give anime its due. Even though it may have its tropes, it tries to be very
Yeah.
educational with its programming.
Inuyasha, not so much because I don't believe there was demons back in the 16th century that were rolling around killing people.
Samurai Champ
That you
Low.
know of.
Samurai.
Yeah, okay, yes, dude, that intro. So,
Reader Die has better representation of historical figures. That one I'm not familiar with.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a nice touch too with the educational aspect. I mean, even like the first season of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which took place in London during Jack the Ripper, the education that kind of came out of it, I found that to be really kind of interesting. But
I would love it if I actually met someone named Speedwagon, though. That's a bit much.
Well, yeah, you have Speedwagon. You have a guy named literally named Led Zeppelin. Right now in the current season I'm on right now, you had Jay Giles.
Well, I mean that's also based upon the writer, and that's the same thing that happened with Bastard, heavy metal epic fantasy, where it's like some of the characters and some of the lands were based off of heavy metal music. I think the one kingdom is called Metallica.
Mega Man 5. Mega Man X5. They changed all the characters to be Guns N' Roses. So you had Axl Rose, Slash was straight named, Buzz McWhalen, I think was one of them. It says Buzz McCracken. They decided to go in that direction with Mega Man X5 for no reason whatsoever.
Because they were running out of names.
They still made like 3 more sequels to that thing. So, oh my God. They came a long way from like Heat Man, Metal Man, Wood Man. And then Mega Man 9, you had Splash Woman. It's like, oh my God, we had a female character.
Yeah.
Dude, can I just...
No, it was great when they actually had to do the animals too.
Can I just point out that there are some phenomenal randomizers out there for like the Mega Man games that revamp, every level, every setup on that. They're glorious. The replay value on that is obscene. Woodman. Yeah. And then after that, he had Hard Man. Hard Man. Shut up.
Even with some of the weapons, I think there is actually in one of the games there's a N-bomb.
Was that Mega Man 8 where there was a napalm bomb?
Maybe, but it's abbreviated as N-bomb.
N-bomb, nice. The leaf shield, which basically is completely easily penetrable and will disappear as soon as you move.
Right, and then there's another one. I think Game Grumps actually had made a joke about it. The freeze cracker.
Yes, that was number 8. That was Mega Man 8. I had that over here, so. But no, I think one of the worst.
Freeze cracker.
Yeah, right. One of the worst ones I think they ever had was the top spin in Mega Man 3. Where he did that spin around, like 360 spin. But it had like no hit detection whatsoever. You're the only one that got hit. Oh.
And once again, we have veered off.
Yeah, I think we may have to call it at this point anyway.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about, though, going forward. I think we should mention Ted Lasso season 3 is coming close. And Ted Lasso, the first 2 seasons were just phenomenal. Oh my God, in so many fronts. It was easily one of the best shows I've ever saw. I signed up for Apple TV because of loyalty to Apple and Severance and all the stuff they did for me. Ted Lasso was better than Severance. So huge fan of the show. I got her into it. When I go back upstairs in a few minutes, she's going to be like, can we watch an episode of Ted Lasso? Because she's about 3/4 of the way through season 2 at this point and wants to see how it ends.
As an actor who regularly gets onto a good amount of shows, they filmed Ted Lasso over in England, do they not?
They did, yes.
Okay. So there's no chance any of us will be able to ever audition for it.
No, it's all pure UK. All the with the exception of only a couple of cast members, it's all British cast too.
Right.
So but yeah, no, that show was beyond stellar. And it worked on so many fronts because of the feel good aspect of it with the MLS deal that they've got with Apple TV, which actually becomes available now pretty much, that you can sign up for Apple TV and get, MLS games at $80 to $100 a year. I will do it because again, we cover at this point, 3 or 4 teams now, NYCFC, Philadelphia, Seattle, Red Bulls, we got to knock out. Charlotte, I think we got to knock out. So, I mean, I kind of have to get it for myself now. But no, I mean, dude, it's like I said, Ted Lasso is stellar. Hello Tomorrow's coming out, so we'll probably talk about that when it gets closer. Because I did a bunch of days on that. That got me my health insurance last year.
Yeah, more
Oh,
credit
wow.
to soccer/football. I mean, between that and Welcome to Wrexham on
Yes,
FX, it has grown in like popularity in just the normal United States consciousness, as
five to
opposed to
7 years
just
it
the
will
World
overtake
Cup
baseball in
whenever it's
popularity.
happening.
By 2030, it will overtake baseball in popularity. I'm calling that right now.
By
Especially,
2030.
yes, because baseball's on the decline. People are bored with one pitch after another. It gets old. Soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, 2 hours, you're out the door. I can cover a game that's at 1 o'clock. I can tell everybody at the house what time I'll be back at the house, including basically the game when it's over, the press conference, and the travel. And I am down to like 20, I'm within 20 minutes every time.
Oh,
But
wow.
you're not counting the pre-gaming and all the marching in the streets.
No.
Oh,
No,
Especially if
I
you're
count, I
going to
count
watch any place in Newark.
I
If
count the
you're
buff,
watching a game in Newark,
I
you
count the
will be
buffet food
sidelined
that
for
I
at
have
least
to
a
have.
good hour with just people crossing the street, dancing in the street, making noise in the street. You can't get out
We
there.
already covered that on Sports Den, by the way. The people that actually fell through a literal like bus stop. There was like 5 people on top of a bus stop, and there's a Twitter video. They all fell through simultaneously
oh, wow.
when the Eagles won. So
Wait, I got a different video because I got people that didn't riot, didn't destroy nothing. They
no,
were
no.
just playing.
Apparently a bus stop sign was, like a stop sign was damaged too. But no, there's a video out there where they literally fell through a bus stop because again, 5 people, glass. We already covered that. Straight on down. It's kind of funny.
I
But
bet.
no, all things considered, they didn't do a lot of rioting. Whoever wins the Super Bowl, we'll see what kind of riots end up happening at that point. But we'll worry about that in a couple of weeks' time. So,
Yes, that's for a different show.
oh yeah, we'll cover that in its own due course. So, all right, gentlemen. Any other final thoughts you think?
That's all.
Cool. So, all right, I appreciate it as always. Ryan, thank you. You were awesome. Day, thank you as well. Both of you guys were a huge help on this. I really, really appreciate it.
He's a sleepy baby. We get it.
Cool.
Dude, I got like 2.5 hours of sleep, and I was out the door this morning by what 5 a.m. I think. No, 4:30 this morning. So, yeah, I was back at a reasonable time, and then immediately got set up on the shows. But
Oh, that's fine. Don't forget to join us here next week, every Monday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time,
Yeah.
for another episode of Tales from the Film Set.
indeed.
If there is any particular topic you would want us to talk about on the show next week, go ahead and let us know in the comments or write to us. Check our social medias, pretty much Extreme Punk Entertainment,
This
wherever
is
you
both pointing
go.
and typing.
Yeah.
Well, now you can just point to the corner for the stuff that I made, so that's great.
Yeah, again, props to Ryan down there. Down there, there we go. For doing all this stuff. That entire background, which by the way, Eduardo gave you props on that. He was really impressed by it.
Nice.
But no, that's
Everybody loving Ryan.
Exactly. So, yay, Ryan. So,
Until
but anyway,
All right.
that's going to do it for us.
Are we doing the game thing tomorrow? Next Monday?
We can discuss that if you want to do Jeopardy because I think Kyle would be down for fighting game Jeopardy because I found that one. I got to go back and get it. But it was like
wait. Wait. Are we having someone make up the Jeopardy, or are we going with whatever's on there again?
Here's the thing. I found the one. We can maybe ask to see if somebody's willing to make one. As long as it's not like, how do you do the Hadouken?
I mean, Konami code is legal, I think, but anything else.
But Konami never really had fighting games that I can remember.
Yeah.
No, but the Konami code is legendary.
Oh yeah, up, down, left, right,
right.
Dun 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 dun. Anyway, guys, have a good night. Thank you. You all are awesome.
Bonus points for anyone that knows what music they were just singing.